Welcome everyone to another Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Wherever you are, whatever you may be doing, thank you so much for making Ref Brandon and the Todd Family part of your day. We always greatly appreciate it. If you jump on here live here on this Sunday evening, feel free to leave a comment in the comments section down below. Make sure to give the video a like, a thumbs up. If you have not yet subscribed, please do so and share the video on all social media platforms. I hope and I trust that everybody had a fantastic weekend. Hard to believe that it's almost mid March already, but tonight I want to talk some running backs. If you saw the title of the video, you know that already, but it's running backs in the transfer portal. And normally, typically in the past, when I talk about these transfer portal players and players that have transferred already, I don't focus on one certain position. But I did a video back, I guess it was mid to late January, and it was just talking about players that, transferring. Hey, Jacob, glad to have you here as always. And, some at that point had already announced their next move. Some had not, just the fact that they were transferring. And I said that I was going to try to do a few more of these, before the season started because there's so many guys now that transfer. I mean, there's 8, 9, 10,000 players or more that transfer. And I hate that college football has came to this. I think it's terrible because it's destroyed the actual game of football on the field. But if you don't talk about it, then it seems like when the next season starts, people are going to be lost on who's where because there's so much happening now in the off season with the transfer portal. And usually what I do is like I do back in January and just write down names of players that are transferring. And it could be a quarterback, a wide receiver, a cornerback, a linebacker, it doesn't matter. But this time when I sat down to write these names down, I started writing names down, and the first 4 or 5 I wrote down were all running backs. And I thought, you know what? I'll just make a video that's all running backs. So the next video I do might be all wide receivers or all quarterbacks or all linebackers, whatever. It might be one certain position, and it might just be like it used to be where it's just any position. But when I had 4 or 5 names that were all running backs, I said, you know what? I'll just do all running backs. Hey there, Shay. Glad to have you here. Hey there, BSH. Glad to have you here. Hey there, Juan Pablo. Glad to have you here. So I wrote 20 down, and that's nowhere near all the running backs that transferred. But after these top 20, the rest of the guys, I'm not sure are going to make a difference. It may not be a huge difference, but these top 20 guys, as far as running backs go, I think they're all going to make a difference at their new home. And Juan Pablo and BSH, I think it's y'all's first time here in the comments section. If it is y'all's first time being here, for whatever reason made y'all stop by the channel tonight, thank you very much. Now that you're here, feel free to give the video a like, a thumbs up, and subscribe to the channel. Tell your friends, tell your family all about the channel. But number one is Caleb Hawkins, really good running back who's going from North Texas to Oklahoma State. Hollywood Smothers is going from NC State to Texas. Quintravion Wisner is going from Texas to Florida State. Justice Haynes is going from Michigan to Georgia Tech. Al Mohammed Washington, and he's transferring to California. Bryson Washington is going from Baylor to Auburn. Hey there, Chara. Glad to have you here. Makai Frazier was at Michigan State. He's transferring to Ole Miss. Christian Clark was at Texas. He is transferring to South Carolina. And then London Montgomery is going from East Carolina to Florida. And then we have Dylan Edwards, who's not going very far, transferring from Kansas State to Kansas. Now, Dylan Edwards is the player, if you recall, that this past year there was a lot of hope around the Kansas State season as a whole and Dylan Edwards. And then I believe, if memory serves, they played Iowa State in week 0, a noon kickoff in Ireland or somewhere like that. And Dylan Edwards, I believe, got hurt on the opening kickoff and was out the entire season. Hey there, J3X. Glad to have you here. So now he's transferring to Kansas. CJ Baxter, another running back, leaving Texas and going to Kentucky. Turbo Richard was at Boston College. He's going to Indiana. Taylor Tatum, Oklahoma, to Michigan. James Peoples, Ohio State, to Penn State. Abu Sama III, Iowa State. He's going to Wisconsin. Jacoby Jackson was at Florida. He's going to Ohio State. Makai Hughes, Oregon, to Houston. Jay Harris, Oregon, to Kansas State. Carson Hansen, Iowa State, to Penn State. He just followed the coach, since Iowa State's former coach is now the coach at Penn State. Carson Hansen just follows him. And then the last guy I wrote down is Jarek Gibson, who was at Texas, and now he's going to Purdue. So if you kept track, we have Quintravion Wisner, CJ Baxter, and Jarek Gibson, and Christian Clark. 4 running backs on that list of top 20 that were at Texas, and they're transferring. Quintravion Wisner is transferring to Florida State. Christian Clark transferring to South Carolina. C.J. Baxter transferring to Kentucky. And Jarek Gibson transferring to Purdue. So Texas has 4 running backs that all transferred. And it's not very often you see a top 10, top 15 team lose 4 players at one position. Usually you're going to lose some because you've got that many players. They can't all get the ball, and then the ones that can't get the ball say, hey, I'm leaving. But it's odd to see 4. But I think it was the 2024 season where by the time the season started, Texas had already lost like 6 running backs through spring camp and summer camp and practice before the season. So with Texas, if you're a running back, they can't have enough because they, for some reason, for whatever reason, have trouble keeping running backs healthy. So if they lost Wisner and Clark and Baxter and Gibson, Texas better have a heck of an offseason in the running back department. Now, I know that they're going to throw the ball 112 times a game, especially with Arch Manning as the quarterback, but you've got to have somebody in the backfield. You can't throw the ball every single down. But Texas lost 4 running backs. If I'm not mistaken, Quintravion Wisner and C.J. Baxter were 2 of the running backs they lost for the season, but I could be wrong on that. Any thoughts on any of this, please feel free to let me know. Hard to believe that I wrote down 20 running backs, which I believe are the best 20 running backs that transferred, and I was nowhere near done. But I thought I can't write down 75 running backs. And I'm not saying there was 75, but there was way more than 20. And I thought I can't write that many people down because nobody's going to remember all those names. And then come season time, they're going to say, oh, I didn't know about that. When I told you, you just forgot. But that's hard to keep up with. But I just gave you 20. And unless you write that down, you're going to forget those by football season unless they went to either your team or if they went to your rival team, you'll remember. But outside of that, you're not going to remember all these running backs, and I can't blame you. I probably won't either. I'm the one doing the video, and I probably will forget half of them. Hey there, Eddie. Glad to have you here. So I'll do plenty more of these. I try to do at least 5 or 6 between the end of one season and the start of the next season. And now we're in mid-March, and this is the second one, I believe, maybe third, but I remember doing one a week or so after the season was over, and I said I would do some more before the season started, and I haven't done one yet, so I wanted to go ahead and do this one, and this was just running backs. So outside of the one that I did back in January where I talked about every position, I haven't talked about linebackers at all, wide receivers at all, offensive tackles at all. So got a lot more to cover. I'll try to do 3 or 4 more before the 2026 college football season starts. Let's go ahead and get our dad joke of the day in here. How many vampires are good at math? None, unless you count Dracula. And that does it for today's Ref Brandon and the Todd Family YouTube video. Until next time, it's Ref Brandon saying, just like in pro wrestling, life can be over by the count of 3. Tell your friends and family.